problem is that we tend to look at blessings in regards to how they benefit us materially, but I think it's important to understand that the real essence of blessings, people of God, is what happens when our circumstances change. Can we come to a place of maturity like Job, when Job lost all of his material blessings, but Job said, the Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away, but blessed be the name of the Lord. People of God, many of us fail to understand that the blessings in the natural realm are very temporary. The car you drive will eventually down you one day. The money in your pocket is going to be spent one day. The house you live in is going to rot and decay, and even your own health may fail. And that's why you need to understand the real blessings of the Lord are not tied to those things that money can buy. But if you really want to know how blessed you are, add up the things that money cannot buy. You got goodness and love and gentleness, and you got kindness on you. You got the joy of the Lord upon your life. People of God, you woke up this morning and you wasn't in the obituary column. I think I'm looking at some folk that are blessed today. Bible says, just as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy without blame before him in love, foreknowledge. This verse deals with the idea of election. Watch it. It simply says that God in his infinite wisdom chose me before the world was formed. He knew me before he formed me in my mother's womb, and had already determined that I would be his child. I can't explain this to you. All I can tell you is this, is that he loved me even though he knew all about me. He knew what I had the capacity to do, what I would do, but he loved me and chose me knowing I was going to do it. And this man one day ended up dozing off at the wheel. He ended up going into a river. He went into this river. Water was going into his car, and his car was submerging underneath. All he knew to do was cry out. He cried out, and a helicopter came overhead. A ladder came down. A man rescued him out. This man who wasn't spiritual, who used words like lucky, fortunate. This man was now being interviewed by the press. A major affiliate interviewed him, knowing he wasn't a spiritual person, looking at him with all of this excitement on his life as he was standing there with a towel dried. And they said, well, how do you feel to be rescued? He said, I'm blessed. I'm so blessed. The reporter was baffled. This can't be the same person. What? Excuse me? I'm so blessed. I mean, God is so good to me. What do you mean? What happened? He says, well, let me tell you what happened. One day, I was just driving. I got off course. I went down the wrong road. I fell into something I knew I shouldn't have been in. I felt myself going under, and all I knew to do was call out. I didn't know God, but I heard folk talking about God, and they said when you're in trouble, call. All I knew to do was call out. I was going under, sinking, but I called out. I heard a sound over my head. I heard a ladder come down. I saw a ladder come down. A man came down the ladder, reached his hand down to me, and told me to reach my hand up to him. I'd never reached my hand to a man before, but I was in so much trouble, all I knew to do was lift my hand in. I lifted up my hand and grabbed his hand. He looked down at me and said, whatever you do, don't let me go. I held on for dear life. That man lifted me up, took me, set me on a higher plane. They wrapped clothes around me and dried me off. And I'm standing here today to tell you that had not that man came down, took me by my hand, picked me up, changed my situation, I wouldn't be here today. So I want you to know today, I am. Look at somebody, tell them, I don't care what you've been through. Tell them if God brought you out, tell them you blessed. If you're alive today, you blessed. If we're not having your funeral today, you blessed. Blessed.
God has been good to me.
Hey!
He's been so
yeah,
good to me.
What?
more than this whole world
are you?
or you could ever be.
He's been
so good.
Has he been good?
To view this message in its entirety, please visit MountZionAnywhere.org.